Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. In this video, I am going to be doing my preview for the Crusaders versus Chiefs match that is going to be happening at 7:05 PM on Saturday. But if you do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. But yeah, let's get right into this preview. So the first match of Super Rugby Aotearoa round 3, Crusaders versus Chiefs at Orangetheory Stadium. It is very tough to beat the Crusaders, but it is normally more tough to be able to beat them while they are at home. The Crusaders, they have a very impressive record. They're sitting top of the table at the moment for Super Rugby Aotearoa. At the moment, the Chiefs, they have only played one match and they did lose it to the Highlanders. But they will be hoping to be able to pull off the massive upset here and be able to beat this Crusaders side. Is anyone going to be able to do it this season? That is the huge question. Who is going to be able to be in that final for Super Rugby Aotearoa? But we are up to round 3 already. It is flying by at the moment. We've had some very good games to watch. The Crusaders at the moment have won their last 2 matches. The first one against the Highlanders, second one against the Hurricanes. And looking at the previous encounter between the Crusaders and Chiefs when they were playing at home, the Crusaders, the match is actually, I feel like, a lot closer than a lot of people would have thought. It was 18 to the Crusaders, 13 to the Chiefs. So that is actually a pretty close match, and maybe we are in for a close one tomorrow. Although, like I said, it is going to be a tough day at the office for the Chiefs there because of the fact that the Crusaders, their lineup is stacked for this one. Their back line looks phenomenal like it normally does. And the Chiefs, they have got a few new names in there. They are missing a couple keys as well in that starting lineup, but I will move on to that in a very short moment. First, we will look at the Crusaders lineup. The back line of Richie Moanga, Lester Whainarnuku on the left wing, David Havili and Jack Goodhue making up the centres, Sevu Reece on the right wing, and then Will Jordan in the number 15 jersey. It doesn't get much better than that. Dallas McLeod was playing well in that number 12 jersey, and he is going to be on the bench for the Crusaders, so they have got some depth in that back line, and I think they will be able to use it pretty well. Will Jordan, he is getting his first start of the season. A lot of people we're talking about the fact that he did have quite a good impact off the bench against the Hurricanes, so he will be hoping to put in a good shift in this match. He had a little injury, which was why he ended up coming off the bench, but now I believe he is 100% Will Jordan, and he will be hoping to start racking up some of those numbers that he was able to for Super Rugby Aotearoa 2020. Then you look at the 4-pack, only a couple changes in there as well. The first one, George Bauer is going to be in that number 1 jersey instead of Joe Moody. He is on the bench this week, so he will have a lot of experience coming on the field later on in the match for the Crusaders as well. They have also got Sione Havili in that number 6 jersey. That is because of the head knock that Ethan Blackadder had in that last match against the Hurricanes. It was a big shame for the man because he had actually scored a try before that point, did look sharp, and he has looked sharp throughout the 2 matches that he did play. So hopefully he will be back very soon for them. But Sione Havili, he is a very good player as well. And then another very good player who is going to be in that 4-pack as well, Tom Christie, the leading tackler in the competition at the moment, sitting on, I believe it's around 32 tackles, which is almost a whole 10 above anyone else, and that just shows how busy he has been. And he is going to be matching up with Sam Cane, so it will be interesting to see who can win that battle. So another little thing I am going to talk about for the 4-pack of the Crusaders is their locks, Scott Barrett and Sam Whitelock. A lot of experience between those 2 men, also 2 very good players, and they are going to be up against a not so experienced Chief lock pairing in Tupava'ai and Josh Lord. Not a lot of experience between the 2 compared to their counterparts of Whitelock and Barrett. So it will be interesting to see how the lineouts go, and the man who is throwing the lineouts for the Crusaders, it is going to be Cody Taylor, coming off 2 tries in the last match. Looked phenomenal in that match against the Hurricanes, and I feel like he is once again going to be able to have a good match against the Chiefs. So looking at the Chiefs 4-pack, they are starting Angus Tarval for this one, so it will be interesting to see what kind of impact he can have starting the match rather than coming off the bench like he did in the last match against the Highlanders. But someone else in that 4-pack for the Chiefs is going to be Luke Jacobson in the number 8 jersey. He had a very good game against the Highlanders, was able to score a try, and he just looked strong throughout the time that he was on the field. And I feel like if he can put that pressure on the Crusaders early in the match, that is probably when the Crusaders are at their most vulnerable. But then that's the thing, the Chiefs in the match against the Highlanders, the term game of 2 halves has been thrown around a lot for the Super Rugby Aotearoa competition so far. The Chiefs had a very good first half, but then the Highlanders took it in the second. So is that going to be the case in this match at Orangetheory Stadium? Are the Chiefs going to be able to push the Crusaders in the early stages of the match and then possibly just lose that little bit of momentum, and then the Crusaders, we all know, late in the second half, the Crusaders can just take it up to that next level, and it makes them extremely hard to stop. And we've seen in the past it has won them a lot of games and that is the reason that they are sitting top of the table as well, because of the fact they are just able to keep on pushing these other New Zealand sides up until they can start scoring the tries, and then they just keep on ticking over points. So the backline of the Chiefs is pretty similar to the last match. The likes of Bryn Gatland in the number 10 jersey. It is going to be Quinn Tupaia and Sean Wainui making up the centres. Now, someone who is missing from that starting lineup for the Chiefs, he is on the bench. It is Anton Brown. They said that he has got a little bit of an injury, but he seems to be alright to be able to play a little bit of the match, and that is quite a big hit for the Chiefs. And I feel like if anyone was going to be able to match Goodhue in terms of the skills and everything, it would be Anton Brown, but instead now Sean Wainui, he's going to have his hands full with Jack Goodhue, that is for sure. Then Sean Wainui in the past for the Chiefs has done pretty well. Taranaki in the Mitre 10 Cup, he didn't do too bad either, so maybe he will be able to handle that pressure. And then on the wings they have got Etene Nanai-Seturo, who had a very good first game against the Highlanders. He is up there with the most defenders beaten. He is sitting in first equal, and he's only played one match. And the man who he is tying with, I believe, is Jonah Nariki, so that just shows how good of a first match Etene Nanai-Seturo had. And he is going to be trying to step round Sevu Reece, and that matchup is one that I'm getting excited for. They both have the speed. Sevu Reece probably got the power advantage, but the quick feet of Nanai-Seturo, maybe he will be able to create a few opportunities down that left wing side for himself. And then on the other wing, it is going to be Sean Stevenson, who is a solid performer for the Chiefs as well, and he is going to be matching up with Leicester Fainanuku, so there is a lot to be excited for in this match. And we haven't even mentioned the man in fullback for the Chiefs yet, Damian Mckenzie. He is going to have to play a big role in that Chiefs backline as well as in the defence, because we all know that the Crusaders are able to create opportunities throughout a match. So Damian Mckenzie, he is going to be having to use his vision very well and try and pick when to come forward and attack with the Chiefs backline and when to drop back to watch out for that Crusaders counter. So he is going to have his hands full, but if anyone can do it, it is Damian Mckenzie. Very good player for the Chiefs, and he will be hoping to help them get the win in this one. So we'll move on to the benches now for the Crusaders. They have got Brodie McAllister, Joe Moody, Fletcher Newell, Mitchell Dunshay, Fetu Douglas, Bryn Hall, Fergus Burke, and then Dallas McLeod. So that is a pretty solid bench as well. So that's the thing with the Crusaders. Some of those forwards, they are going to give it 110%, and then they're going to get subbed off for someone else who's willing to give 110 as well. And it's just going to be a matter of whether or not the Chiefs are going to be able to keep up with that fast-paced rugby that the Crusaders know and love. I am just too excited for this match at the moment. It's going to be a great one, hopefully, like the other Super Rugby Aotearoa matches we've had so far. I am going to be doing my watch-along live stream for it as well, so be sure to tune in for that. The match starts at 7:05 PM on Saturday night, which will be tonight, I assume, when this video comes out. So be sure to tune in for that. But it is being played at Orangetheory Stadium, so home advantage does go to the Crusaders there. When the Crusaders were away from home against this Chiefs side, they were able to win 32-19, so a little bit more of a points margin there. But from these two matches that they played in Super Rugby Aotearoa 2020, the Chiefs on the scoreboard aren't completely out of the match. So maybe the Chiefs are a little bit of a bogey team for the Crusaders. Maybe people are overlooking the Chiefs, because at the moment they have lost 9 Super Rugby Aotearoa games in a row, which isn't good news for them, I will be honest there, but maybe, who knows, if they can beat the Crusaders, that will give them a lot of praise from the fans, and also maybe people will see them as a threat for that final position. But yeah, it is hopefully going to be a good match. Then we move on to the bench for the Chiefs. Bradley Slater, Aidan Ross, Sione Mafaleo, Ngataua Akoi, Kalen Boshier going to get his first run of this season. Then they have got Te Taroa Tahuriorangi, and then Anton Brown, like I mentioned, and then Chase Tiatia in that number 23. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how much time they're going to give Leonard Brown in this one, depending on how serious his injury is. But we haven't seen too much of Lachlan Boshier. I know people have been mentioning him, but I believe at this stage he is still dealing with a bit of a foot injury, which is why he hasn't been announced in these lineups. But hopefully he will be back soon, because he is a very good player in the breakdown for the Chiefs, and they will probably be missing him in this match. But they have got Mitchell Brown in that number 6 jersey, and you know that he's going to try his best to have a good performance up against this Crusaders side. But yeah, those are the lineups and the reserves. Also, some stats about the previous encounters. Do let me know in the comment section who you think is going to be winning this match, and also what you think the score will be. I am still pretty undecided. I am known to sit on the fence a little bit when it comes to score predictions. I feel like maybe that the Crusaders will be able to continue their winning streak, but I mean, if the Chiefs were able to win it, I would be pleasantly surprised. and I would say fair play to them, but nonetheless, I think that's almost going to be the end of this preview. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Be sure to check out my live stream that I will be doing alongside the match, but nonetheless, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.